Hi, I'm Ken Navarro, and welcome to my podcast, all about the music. For the last two podcast episodes, I've been showing you how I'm going about writing one of the 22 new songs I'm working on for my next album, scheduled for release in early 2025. The working title of the song I've been showing you is KN16. I always just use numbers until I can come up with a title. So in the first episode, I showed you how I wrote the hook or the chorus. And then in the second episode, I showed you how I took that hook and I created an intro out of it with a new arrangement of it. Now for this third episode, I'm going to go on to the next part of the song that I wrote, and that was called the verse. And I ended up writing two verses. I'm going to show you the first one today. Now, with the other parts of the song I've shown you so far, I pretty much did start with the melody. But with this first verse, I came about it a different way. As I mentioned in my last episode, I was writing a lot of verses that I didn't love. And I decided not to, I guess what you could say, I decided to give myself a break. And so instead of trying to write the chords and the melody all at once, I decided to just get a good chord progression down. And this is what I came up with. So now I've got this nice chord progression, and I said, well, I'm still not going to try to put a melody to this. Let me first come up with a drum groove. So I started to work on that. And I knew I wanted it to have some of the elements of the drum part that I used in the chorus, but I also knew it had to be different because these chords were different. It was a bit of a different mood. And I didn't want it to just be that same groove over and over again. So I came up with this. So that was the drum part. A little hard to understand what it is, I suppose, without hearing the rest of it. So let's add that chord progression in with the drums so you can understand it a little bit better. So I still didn't want to write a melody. I just kind of went with the flow, which was to do an acoustic bass part next. So let's add in the acoustic bass part that I came up with. You'll notice it's not particularly polished or anything. I mean, this is really, I'm writing a song. So I'm just trying to come up with something that'll do the job, at least for now, and then I can deal with what I want to do about it later. First things first, and that's writing the song. So here's the chords. The Wurlitzer on the left, the nylon string fingerstyle guitar on the right, the drums, and then the bass part I came up with. So I could not put off writing the melody any longer. And now I kind of felt inspired because I've got these nice chords, a pretty good groove happening, and even the bass part feels good. So I started to write a melody. I wrote a lot of melodies. I spend a lot of time on melodies. I believe that every note should be there for a reason. And so I go through a lot of stuff before I arrive at the one. So here's the melody I came up with, just the drums and the guitar. So now let's listen to all of the first verse with all of the instruments so far, plus this little transition section that I wrote to lead us into the next chorus. So there you go. I'm pretty happy with how that came out and the way that it leads back into the chorus. So as I mentioned earlier, I actually wrote 2 verses. And so our next session together, episode 4, will be the second verse and how I came up with that and why it works, even though it's completely different than the first verse. All right, I hope this was fun for you guys. I hope you're enjoying the way I'm slowly but surely putting this song together and giving you some insights into the way that I compose and the way that I work. And I'm looking forward to the next one. All right, everybody, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next Thursday. I'm Ken Navarro, and you've been listening to my podcast, All About the Music.